Both players have, in fact, kept. So we're going to start things off here on Urza's Power Plant and a Relic of Drenitis for Jack. This is very good at keeping Goyfs in check, as well as if Dan is playing Grim Flayers, it keeps them in check. Now, I do see that Dan has a Dark Confidant in his hand. I know some decks choose one over the other, so we'll see if that's true here or not. Jack here, second unique Tron piece on turn 2 with an Urza's Tower. That's 2 out of 3. We're looking next turn for an Urza's Mine. That'll give us 7 mana, and that'll be what we're looking for. Dan here does have access to turn 2 Dark Confidant. I don't think he has a much better play than that, so we'll see what happens. You do see as Dan flipped through his deck there, he did have in Surgical Extraction, Pithing Needle, and I believe I saw Fulminator Mage, so he does have quite a few sideboard cards. Fulminator Mage and Surgical Extraction, a great combination. Blow up any one of your Tron pieces and then exile all of them. Dan here, a Plains on turn 2. His draw for the turn was Damnation. There, in fact, is the Dark Confidant. So Jack will go ahead and make Dan exile the Marsh Flats. The draw for the turn was a copy of Expedition Map, so that's fine. It'll get him Tron next turn. This turn he has an Adati Temple. This is good. Thought-Knot Seer on turn 3 before Dan gets access to Fulminator Mages. We have Damnation, Fatal Push, Fulminator Mage, Temple Garden, Liliana of the Veil, and a second Fatal Push. Couple good choices here. Now, very important to note, Dan cannot currently cast Fulminator Mage. He only has a Plains and an Overgrown Tomb in play currently. Temple Garden is the land in his hand. That doesn't give him the ability to actually cast this Fulminator Mage. Now, he will have 2 draw steps essentially to work with here, both Dark Confidant and his own draw step. Liliana to me seems like potentially the best choice here, simply because of the fact that it is the only card right now that can kill it. But again, for the same reason, he actually can't cast Liliana. All right, he takes Liliana away. Dark Confidant reveals Surgical Extraction. That is important. Dan will take 1, picks up a really important card there in a black mana source. This is going to let him Fulminator Mage and also Surgically Extract it. So this is very important. This is going to work out wonderfully for Dan. He's going to pass the turn. And in the draw step, yes. In the draw step, we are going to blow up your tower and then surgically extract all copies of the tower. So pay 2 life. This lets him see the hand of Jack. So Jack's hand was Dismember, Walking Ballista, Basilisk Collar, Expedition Map, and a second copy of Urza's Power Plant. So not any help there. He does have a land drop this turn, so that's not too bad. He can play the Basilisk Collar and equip if you'd like. I think probably the better play, though, is play the Collar and play the Ballista and shoot down Dark Confidant. You just don't want to give him access to that. Alternatively, you can also dismember Dark Confidant. Your life total can be used as a resource here. Whatever you do not want to do it while Dan has access to black mana, though, because you know about Fatal Pushes in his hand, so you don't want to give him the ability to Fatal Push or Thought-Knot Seer without him having to do the work for it first. Dan does have the 4th land and Damnation if he really needs it. I don't think he does right now. Jack here going to go ahead, play out the second power plant, of course. Thinking about what he wants to do here. Again, I think killing Dark Confidant here is very important. You also get to get in for 4 points of damage that way. Because, I mean, I guess you do regardless. Dan's not going to block with Dark Confidant, I don't imagine. So, okay, I wouldn't have played a map. I mean, I guess the map ensures that I have a land drop next turn with Temple probably, but I don't think it's really that important. Here's the attack for 4. Again, Dan does take that, so he's at 12. If Jack's killing this Dark Confidant, I really don't want him to do it on Dan's turn. He's not. It looks like he's going to just hold up the map to activate. 3 damage from Kitchen thanks to Dark Confidant. Picks up another copy of Fulminator Mage. Another good draw step for Dan there. Temple Garden is the land this turn. Let's see where he goes. He has the choice here of Finks or Fulminator Mage, I guess. Actually, he's got a really good play here of... Yeah, he can go Fulminator Mage, Shocking Temple Garden, use that in the Twilight Mire to make black. Use the plains to make the third white, the third source. Fulminator Mage, blow up your temple, and then Fatal Push away your Thought-Knot Seer. Dan instead opts to go for Kitchen Finks, leaving up still access to Fatal Push. He'll attack for 2 with Dark Confidant, Jackal fall to 18, and we're going to see him on the end step sacrifice this map. Going to go ahead and grab himself, I imagine, a second copy of Eldrazi Temple. This is good as it does give insurance against any further surgical extraction shenanigans. He doesn't know that Dan drew the second Fulminator Mage, of course. So he's not quite ready for that necessarily, but grabs a temple, goes to the hand. We'll start Jack's turn here. He picks up for the turn. There's the Urza's Mine he would have wanted, but doesn't matter now. It's just another land for him. We can now play a Ballista for 2. Again, we have to keep in mind that Dan has left open an Overgrown Tomb, so Fatal Push is definitely where he's looking at going this turn. Okay, Basilisk Collar will come down. Looks like we're going to go ahead and equip the collar to the Thought-Knot Seer. This is fine. I mean, it's just going to run into a Finks and get Fatal Pushed. I feel like Dan playing this way, this is the line you played for. So, yeah, sure enough, he hops in front. Jack will gain 4, Dan will gain 2. So at 22 to 11, unless Jack wants to crack Relic in response. It looks like he does not. I'm a little curious because Jack didn't even use Relic last turn, but okay. Finks comes back. There's the Fatal Push on the Thought-Knot Seer. Dan will get to draw a card now. It's not exiled, but okay. Dark Confidant trigger is going to reveal a Lingering Souls. Dan falls to 8 now. Picks up a Godless Shrine. He's drawing them in the wrong order, if nothing else, though. He's taking damage every time from Dark Confidant. It hasn't shown him a land just yet. Yeah, he points out that Thought-Knot Seer is in the graveyard, not exile. Where is Dan going to go here? He has a Scavenging Ooze available in his hand. That's pretty good. Jack does have the ability to exile all graveyards before that comes into play if you'd like. I think I want to do that. I just don't want to give Dan any life if I don't have to. But Jack disagrees. He's going to take the damage for 4 here, falling to 18. Dan, if you would like, can still shock into play and play Fulminator Mage, which he might go ahead and do here. He might also Lingering Souls instead. We'll see here. He's counting the mana to see exactly what he has to worry about. He will shock into play Godless Shrine down to 6. And he will play Fulminator Mage, okay. And he'll immediately blow up a temple. He doesn't want to give Jack any access to mana that he doesn't have to. This does keep Jack on 4 at best 5 mana if he has a land in hand, which he does. We're going to dismember Skoos, okay. I like the... I mean, if Jack draws a Smasher here, this is huge. Dan goes to 1. He drew another Thought-Knot Seer, it looks like, which isn't bad, but it gets Fatal Push, which I guess he can take out of the hand, but... I think he drew Thought. I could be wrong, but... No, he drew Thought-Knots here. Okay. Dan can't respond. He's got no mana. So let's have a look here. We've got Fatal Push, Lingering Souls, and Damnation. Jack knew about all three of these cards, so nothing new information-wise being given here. I guess I just take away this. Okay, he takes away Lingering Souls. I guess right now, Dan doesn't have any way to turn on his Revolt, but I think that's a little bit. I don't know. That seems a little scary to me. Inquisition of Kozilek is the Reveal the Dark Confidant. Dan falls to 5, picks up another copy of Lingering Souls that was just exiled. So got the backup copy. Let's see where he goes with his turn. And this could just be a turn of Lingering Souls, flashback Lingering Souls. He's going to start with Inquisition. Jack has in hand a Walking Ballista, which will get taken away. It does have a CMC of 0. That is unfortunate, as Ballista is great at dealing with the Lingering Souls tokens, if nothing else, but there is that Lingering Souls. That's the first one. He has left up, of course, a black mana here for Fatal Push. 2 spirits into play. If I'm Dan, I attack here, probably with both, in fact. Give Jack the bait of blocking here. Jack should not block. He doesn't. He falls to 12. It's a good play by Jack to not take that block. Dan may potentially look at Fatal Pushing his own Dark Confidant if he feels the need to, but end of turn, Jack will exile all graveyards. It is important. It does get rid of the flashback on Lingering Souls. Another good draw here for Jack, though. He picked up Fatal Push, or Thought-Knots here again, rather. So this is going to take away... It's going to take away Damnation this time. You don't want to let Dan draw 2 cards for free. Or for 4 mana, I guess, technically, while also wiping your board. Dan... He's thinking here, but Damnation is the choice here for sure. It does mean that Jack can't attack this turn because he doesn't want to turn on Revolt. Why are we doing that? That seems wrong. Okay. I guess this allows Jack to attack this turn, but that just doesn't seem as good to me. Yeah, this gives Dan a way to kill his own Dark Confidant. It's not exiled, but Jack gains 4. Yeah, I would have taken this Damnation and just said go. Dan would have taken 2 from a Stony Silence. He would have been down to 3. Yeah, I think that's a big misplay on Jack's part there. Letting Dan keep this Damnation is huge. It's going to reset the board and let Dan draw 2 cards. And yeah, here you see this is the I'm playing Damnation attack. Jack doesn't even block. Jack, what are you doing? You know he has Damnation. He's not going to not pull the trigger on it this turn. Alright, Damnation. Blow up the board. Dan draws 2 cards. Swamp and Pithing Needle. So he can Pithing Needle the Basilisk Scholar if he wants. I don't really know how important that is, but he hasn't played land yet, so he can just place... Oh yeah, you just Stony Silence away the Basilisk Scholar, right? So you don't need to worry about Pithing Needle it. That seems like a waste. Dan thinking here, does he want to play it? There's no reason not to. I mean, you have the 2 mana, your opponent's hell-bent. The only thing you're really in trouble to here is a Smasher, of course. Okay, Matter Reshaper here is fine. Dan, I think, picked up a Goyf. That's pretty good. Yep, that's Tarmogoyf. We have Creature, Sorcery. That's it, I think, right? It's actually only a 2/3. Oh, that's not great. There's no instant. There's no land. Yeah, okay. We have a 2/3 Tarmogoyf. That trades with Matter Reshaper. That's not a good trade. Dan's counting mana again. Jack has access to 6 mana for any sort of Eldrazi. 5 mana otherwise. Again, Smasher is still the best draw without a doubt. Smasher ends the game, in fact. What are you going to Pithing Needle here, Dan? What's the scariest card? Okay. Pith Needle comes down. I'm not going to have any way to know what he named. He's going to write it down, it looks like, for me to help me out a little bit. I appreciate that. Hopefully I can read it. Oh, I can't read that unless he holds up to the camera. Not any idea what that says. Couldn't tell you if I wanted to. Okay. The draw was a land, I believe, from the way that Jack's holding it. And, yeah. Buried Ruin. There's no artifact in the graveyard yet. That's one that Dan has to read. We'll do the same because, I'm going to be honest, I forget what it does. I think it gets back artifacts. Yep, sacrifice it, return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. So, Dan picks up a very important card there in Scavenging Ooze. He's at 5 life. He has to be very careful here. Did Jack not attack? Jack, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Smasher. Smasher time? Smasher time. He's got access right now to 3 green mana, so he can make the Skoos big enough to trade. Which if I'm Jack, I'm absolutely okay with. Yeah, turn them both sideways. That's the right play to me for sure. All right. Dan here is going to go ahead, make 3 green mana total, and he's going to eat away both Thought-Knot Seers and likely his own Dark Confidant. Maybe only using 2. Let's see here. He goes to 7, and then he'll also eat, his own Dark Confidant. So 5/5 Scavenging Ooze and still just a 2/3 Tarmogoyf. Are we just trading away the board here? The other option Dan has is he can trade. He can basically trade his Goyf for the Matter Reshaper, which is the same thing regardless. It's just one way we end up with no creatures, one way we end up with all the creatures. So it looks like Dan is actually just going to take 5 and trade away Goyf for Matter Reshaper. So we have a trigger on Matter Reshaper. Walking Ballista, he will put that in his hand. That makes sense. Actually, this is important because Dan does get to make his Scavenging Ooze bigger now than the Reality Smasher. Jack should just say go and play the Ballista next turn, I think, but actually it doesn't matter. The Ballista's it's a 1/1, right? So actually I think for that reason you definitely wait till next turn. Because Ballista can't activate thanks to Sonia Silence. Doesn't matter what he does with that Ballista. It's just going to be a 1/1 in this case forever now. He can't equip the Collar to make it a machine gun. He can't just even shoot to get the trample damage through or to kill the Skoos. This is just a 1/1. I would have definitely waited a turn and made a 3/3 at least. There's Lingering Souls. That's going to get 2 tokens for Dan. That's a very good one. Dan actually wins in 2 turns. If Jack doesn't block. Flashback Lingering Souls, get 2 more tokens. Do we attack here? Nope, we don't. We're just going to leave up our Skoos, which is bigger than your Smasher. Thanks to the 6 counter we'll get. Tectonic Edge, sure. This Ballista is really unfortunate that it does nothing. Sure. Tectonic Edge away your Temple Garden, it looks like. Which he will, in response, eat your Matter Reshaper. Dan goes to 4. Temple Garden gets blown up. This would grow potential Goyfs, but there's none in play, of course, so it doesn't matter. Skoos now is 6/6. Ballista can't do anything about that. Can't force a trade. He just has to say go. Dan, I believe, drew a land there for the turn, so... Uh, attack with 3 spirits. All of them is also fine. Yeah, sure. Bring in all 4. Jack gonna fall to 8. And we're back to his turn here. So let's see. His draw was a Cavernous Souls. That's not good here. It doesn't do anything for him. It's gonna name Eldrazi, but that's not relevant here. So he has to say go again. He can't attack. I mean, he can force through 1 point of damage. That doesn't matter. And then he's done on the crackback. Yeah, he has to just say go and hope he draws, I guess, like a second Smasher next turn. Yep. Dan's going to go ahead and eat both of his own creatures. Draw was a Goyf. It's still a 2-3 actually because Dan ate the last of the creatures in the graveyard. Attack for 4. Jack takes it, falls to 4. He's dead next turn. He's got to find something or he is just dead. There's the Goyf. It's still a 2-3. Land and sorcery. The draw is... that's something. 6, 7. Whoa! Whoa, that's a big one. That's game. That's going to be game. That'll be 6 damage that Jack gets to deal because Dan has no other creatures to eat in the graveyards. Yeah, Dan picks them up. We're going to head to a game 3 here. Now, I will say that with the time being what it is in the round, these players may just opt for a draw. I mean, I don't imagine that either one of these guys can win in 3 minutes. They have a couple minutes because they moved over. They have about 5 minutes left, but that still seems like too little of time for either one of these guys to win. Wow, what a draw for Jack. What a draw. Okay, so Dan's going to have the play. These guys are going to try for a game 3 here. Dan has kept. He'll start off with Godless Shrine and Thoughtseize. So Dan is at 16. Let's have a look at Jack's hand for this third game. Relic, Tower, All is Dust, Wastes, Mine, Matter Reshaper. Take a Relic, I guess. It's like that or All is Dust. I mean, Matter Shaper is good. I don't know. There's no great choice here. Nothing jumps out at you. Matter Shaper's the choice for Dan, sure. Jack will take his first turn. His turn will be Tron Land, Relic, go. I'm calling it now. Unless he draws a map, that's going to be his turn. Ghost Quarter. There's the Mine. There's the Relic. And we're back to Dan. Verdant Catacombs the draw. And that's his play and go. Okay. He'll eat the Thoughtseize on end step. He picks up a Cavernous Souls. There's the Tower. He'd probably just play second Relic here. You may as well. Yep, second Relic comes down. I like end step just cracking one of these relics to get rid of it. Dan will sacrifice Verdant Catacombs, falls to 15. Picks himself up an Overgrown Tomb. He has access to all his colors now. Yeah, if I'm Jack, I just crack a relic here, draw a card, and see if I can find something. Namely, like a power plant. Damnation was the draw for Dan. He'll play a Marsh Flats, and he will sacrifice the Marsh Flats. He's at 14. Is he going to go any lower than that? Let's see. Nope, he gets the basic planes. Okay. Let's see what he decides to play here. So it looks like these guys are in fact on turns. He'll play Kitchen Finks. So he goes to 16. Yeah, this is turns now. So, or not? I don't know. There's the sacrifice of the relic. These guys should have a little extra time. So, I imagine that's why the die was removed, because it's not quite turns just yet. These guys had to move over to accommodate, so they do get a bit of extra time, of course. There's a map, so we have Tron next turn. Okay. All right. Oh, that's a good one. Stony Silence. Sure, yeah. Play that and hope Jack just says, yeah, it resolves. Oops. Okay, here's an attack for 3. Jack will fall to 17. Dan's going to go for the Stony Silence. Jack should have a response. He does. Respond by sacrificing map. The relic is now no use. Unless he wants to respond by exiling his own map, which there's an argument to be made for it because it does shrink future Tarmogoyfs. No, it resolves. Jack picked up another tower, so he's got lots of mana next turn. He's going to all his dust this board? Okay, so a bit of a mistake there. Jack could have avoided this Sphinx coming back. All his dust, the Stony Silence and the Sphinx are going to go to graveyard at the same time. Sphinx then triggers in the graveyard, and you can now use Relic because Silence is gone. This is now turn 1, though. This will be an attack for 2. Jack will fall to 15. Jack will now crack the Relic, get rid of the graveyards, draw a card. Jack is turn 2. He needs to find a Smasher now. Map is not Smasher. I guess Ulamog could also... No, that's not fast enough, right? 3, 6. This is 10 mana. This is a Ballista for 5. That's big. Dan has a path, though, so it doesn't really matter. It's just 5 damage to Dan, this means. He'll shoot the Sphinx, sure. Again, Dan does have path. He doesn't opt to use it, though. He'll just go ahead and untap here. He'll just say go back. We're on turn 4 now. Didn't adjust the die. They are on turn 4. This is an attack for 4. This will be a path to exile, I imagine. There is a Ghost Quarter, so Shilling Events is not a blocker or an attacker right now. Oh, we also have Fatal Push. That's even better, yeah, sure. Fatal Push or Ballista. He can opt to grow this in response, which looks like he's going to do. So he can grow this 3 times? So that should be 7 to Dan, if I'm not mistaken. This is turn 5. Nope, turn 5. They're going to have an extra turn, but it's not that big of a deal. This would have been a draw no matter what, so. Jack can't win this turn. Dan couldn't have won on his turn, so. It's irrelevant. Yeah, thought not here, sure. Whatever, look at your hand. I'll path in response. Why are we playing this turn out so much? This is game over. Dan draw his card. I don't even know if he did. Okay, so these guys will finish their round 1 match in a draw.